Hello, and welcome to this BIMcollab webinar. 6 ways the new BIMcollab will enhance your collaboration. Thank you, everybody, for joining us in this webinar. Um, I first would like to introduce ourselves. Um, my name is Christian Dolhuizen. I'm part of the product management team here at BIMcollab. And I'm joined with Jasper van den Abelen, which is from our sales department, and he will assist me in this webinar by answering questions that you may have during this webinar. Everyone is on listen-only mode, but the panel for GoToMeeting, GoToWebinar, will allow you to chat for questions. It's in the lower part of your screen. And if there's something that you wish to convey to us or want to ask us, Jasper will help you during the webinar. And at the end of the webinar, we will also take some extra time to answer some of your questions. The webinar will be recorded. It's going to be around 30 minutes, so it might be a little bit fast, but the recording will be sent to every participant on the line so far. So for the first part, I will go to the topics for today. BIMcollab has been enhanced with a lot of features, and separately they might be a little bit confusing, but in this demonstration or this webinar, I will demonstrate some of these features and give you some clue on what and why we developed them. So the topics for today are how to apply custom attributes in your projects, the use of extended reporting, the structuring of your workflows, so to give more structure or work in a more formal manner. We also have something special in the form of an integration with a common data environment, which we will show you. We also already have integrations with data visualization tools, but we also improved on that, so we would like to share that as well. And we also made a very strong connection to our BIMcollab Zoom platform, our desktop application for model viewing and validation, which also includes a pro version released last month. So we'll be talking about that as well. So if everyone has good audio, if there are some issues, you can also raise your questions, and maybe one of my colleagues can help you with the audio settings. But we will start the presentation now. So first up, applying custom attributes. We found that in some workflows from our customers, there were existing attributes that were used in their issue management process that were not defined by the BIM collaboration format or by us as the BIMcollab platform. There were also some requests to do a little bit more or move in a somewhat different direction than solely the issue management process. And they found that there were some fields that people would like to add to their projects. So the new BIMcollab allows for those custom attributes. You can simply define them in a project, even giving them a specific name, and define a drop-down list for values. Once this is done, you can choose those attributes in your issues from the web app. And of course, you can filter and analyze those issues in your project. So they can be used to further categorize specific issues, but also to see the impact in this case that we see on the cost value here shown as an example. Another part that we improved is we have some extended reporting. So first off, project graphs were already available, so but they were limited to the project only. So we found that there are a lot of customers who run multiple projects. They even have same stakeholders or subcontractors across multiple projects. And we now also allow the user to display these in project graphs across the entire space. So you can see all the actions and open issues for all projects on your BIMcollab space. allowing you also to track, monitor, and analyze some of these progresses on all of your projects that are running on BIMcollab. So in order to give you some idea, I will show this in a quick demo. For this, I will be logging into BIMcollab, of course. So in this case, I will go to the main page, and here are all my demo projects. And as you can see, I can click here on the projects graphs overview tab, where you can define which specific graphs you want to show and in what order. And as you can see the totals of all the issues on all projects across the entire platform. If you wish to filter on this, it's also possible to use the filtering system to skip certain elements in these overviews for reporting to other team members. Also, there are some graph settings where you can customize the visibility of these graphs. So diving into the project, I will go to the settings page where I can define specific attributes for my projects to use. So of course there's the team members, but I want to focus on the custom attributes that you see on the most left part. In this case, I have created a custom field, which is a list field. And list fields can be used in combination with a drop-down. So you can define the value name, but you can also define the chosen values here. So we support up to 2 of those list fields and 2 custom text fields, which can be used as additional descriptions in this case. So once defined, issues that are raised can be assigned one of those specific values and can also be filtered upon. So if there is an issue that needs specific attention on the cost side, I can raise the value here. And if I save that, I will be able to filter those elements out by selecting that specific property for filtering. That will, of course, give me all these elements sorted. And of course, if you report from one of these projects, also the cost per impact will be visible in these overviews. So we feel that it will greatly enhance your specific workflows and give you even more control over your projects this way. Another way to redefine the workflows within BIMcollab is to use to prevent against the missing attributes. So in this case, a user has created an issue with no area or milestone, which can be very confusing or hard to keep track of. So if you need those specific values for categorization, filtering, and assigning, it will be very riskful if there are a lot who are missing these parameters. So for this purpose, you can designate mandatory fields. So the essential issues can be assigned mandatory, and the issues cannot be saved on creation or added if these values are not set by the user. Another way to formalize the issue process is to look at the assignments and the ability for team members to assign to each other. So the most common way where issues are used is to validate some of those issues created. Those issues can then be assigned to specific responsible persons like team leads, and those can be assigned assign those to the modelers who are tasked to fix these issues. So in this case, it's pretty informal, and any issue can be assigned to anyone in the project. If you have complex and large projects containing a lot of stakeholders, this can be quite a long list, and it can be confusing for some of the team members to know to whom assign issues. And yeah, that can lead to issues being assigned to the wrong people and creates delays and confusion, of course. So for this purpose, we allow users to create specific user groups on their projects. So in this example, I can create a group for the team leaders, which is the first line where issues can be assigned to. Those team leads are only in that specific group, but they are also into the team group. So they can be assigned from outside by team lead B, but can only assign, they can assign to the team members within their own team. If a team member has a solution, they can only reassign back to the team lead and not directly to somebody outside the user group. So in this workflow, it's very easy for the team member in team A to know to which to assign, and also to validate issues and responses throughout the project. I can give you a quick demo for this. So for this, I will go back to my project and go to my settings page to check the option only allow to assign issues to members in the team member user groups. So in this case, this is in combination with the groups that I defined here. So I have several groups defined for the design team, the construction team, modeling teams, etc. And the team members can be assigned a specific group. So as you can see here, in this case, Betty Gizzy is part of the structural engineer modeling team. And if I look at myself, I am in the team leaders construction team. So I will be able to assign to Betty Gizzy, but also to other team members, but Betty will not have the ability to go outside of our group. So if I want to report an issue this way, you can see that I have access to a lot more people in the project, but I already, because I'm a project lead, I will know all these people. But if I assign to Betty Gizzy, then that individual, which I will show you in their application. So in this case, I will log into Revit as Betty. And then pull the correct project, of course. And I can also pre-filter by only using my own issues as Betty as a download. So of course I can jump in and examine one of these issues that's assigned to me. And if I want to report back by stating that this is solved, I can of course create an additional issue, and I can also change the status to resolved. But as you can see, because of the limitation, I can only reassign to one of my team members and not the entire team. So I can check the resolve status, and this will be transferred to the team lead, which then can take action to bring it further up the chain in the organization. So we believe that this is a helpful feature, especially in large complex projects, to really define who can assign to who. So please, if you have some of these challenges, try out this feature. So for the next part, I will be looking at the ability to integrate with a common data environment. Specifically for this purpose, we had some questions from our clients that the web application is a great tool, but they wanted to be more interactive at some point. Of course, we have BIMcollab Zoom as a desktop application, but we wanted to include a very intuitive and easy way to share the up-to-date model files through our web application without the need for installing any application or downloading any files. So for this purpose, we look to a large platform, a large CDE, created by Autodesk based on BIM 360 docs, where we create a connection to folders on that system, which allows you to stream those models in the folder as a unified project. So it's very easy. The administrator has to grant access for BIMcollab once, and then you can set up your project to use the integration. So project settings, you can turn it on and then point to the specific folder, which allows you to immediately download all models, view them, create issues, edit, respond in context of that 3D BIM model. It also automatically downloads all the models in the folder, so there is no need to use several downloads or have files on your local machine this way. I will give you a quick demo on how to set this up. So in this case, I do not have any model integration yet, but I can jump to that using the settings of my project. And at the bottom, you will find the drop-down for integrations, which also contains the BIM 360 Docs integration. With this and a sign-on, I can browse through my project folder containing my BIM files and just click OK and store it on the platform. From then on, I have access to all the most up-to-date or current BIM files, and I can use them. Sorry, there's a small hiccup on the BIM 360 server. Let's try that again. So as you can see, there are multiple discipline files loaded that will be needed for viewing some of these issues. And as you can see, I can investigate some of them, turn around, view all the components involved, select, and even respond to the issues directly from your browser. And of course, I can create also new issues. So if I spot something, I can directly create a new issue from my web browser, create a comment assigned to specific team members, and then, of course, I need to run a title, which is a mandatory field, by the way. And in this case, I will also show you, because I haven't shown that before, there is the mandatory field option is also under the settings page, where you can assign specific elements like area or even my custom cost impact value as a mandatory field. And as you can see, these values now need to be assigned if you want to create issues in this project. So we feel that the collaboration will greatly improve because of these features already. The ability to share your models in context with anyone, regardless of any software that they may have, is of course very beneficial for the entire team. It gives you direct access to the information and allows you to better make decisions on all the issues in your project. The next one is an enhancement of our connection to Power BI. It will allow you to stream data from BIMcollab to dashboards created on Power BI. We have a free plugin for this software that's available on our download section, and it will allow you to stream all issued data or project information to one of these dashboards. Well, we also found that there is even more that we can do in this connection. So we created more generic values to be called from our platform. So in this case, we have a all projects setup, which forgoes the need to specify every specific name of a project on your BIMcollab space. So it will just look at all projects in one go. So it's very easy to set up. So you only have to do it once. And every new project created will also always be on your dashboards and will be in the data transfer. Another very great feature that we take more advantage of now is the ability for Power BI to create interactive reports. So we now not only stream all the information from BIMcollab, we also take the actions and the people who have done those actions, which gives you a lot more overview of what is going on. So have a real progress report on all actions taken by your team, and that in a generic Power BI dashboard. So just a small example for this, I will log into Power BI, and if you look here, I have a dashboard that I can view. So this is combined information streaming from BIMcollab. But the nice thing for this type of report is that I can drill down into a specific item, like priority critical, and look at all the people who are involved in this process. But I can also drill down in specific team members and see what actions that they took on which issues and at what date and time. So it's a very helpful feature, we believe, to keep track of all issues and team members and their progress, of course. And again, of course, enhancing your collaboration. The last part that I want to cover is the integration of our Zoom application. For people without BIM software, we already allow them to download Zoom for free, giving them a chance to look at the unified model. So you can load up different types of files like point clouds or IFCs and combine them into a unified project model for validation. And it can be done by just visual checks or using our Smart View technology to color code and isolate specific components with or without properties. We recently released also a pro version for this that actually allows you to run clash detections for specific requirements. There's also a connection to BIMcollab that you can prepare those clash rules and share them with the rest of the team. So you can define one shared rule that other people can run on their own machines, on their own models. And there's also an extra feature that allows you to run a property count for specific properties, checking like for volumes or the amounts of elements used in one of your models. So the basic version can be downloaded for free. So be sure to download Zoom 3 from our download section. With this version, you can already see all the issues in context of 3D models that you load in BIMcollab Zoom. But if you go for the Pro version, you can even run clash detection in a very efficient manner. And the licenses are acquired by connecting to a specific project, allowing you to run these clash detection, group the issues, and then, of course, sharing them on BIMcollab. Another part of this workflow is also tied into BIMcollab projects that allows you to prepare and share the smart views for your projects, assign them or make them available to team members so they can run the smart views as defined by you as perhaps the project leader on this project. So in this case, the user on the other end does not need to have that specific information regarding the setup of these smart views or clash rules. They can just run them and use the checking methods to validate if their models are correct or not. So how does this work? You can have a pool of licenses on your BIMcollab space and assign specific users from your space to have one of these licenses. So if they connect to one of your projects and they are assigned a license, they will all automatically change to a Zoom 3 Pro version, allowing them to run these specific Pro features. If you want to define, share, and update smart views, this is also tied into the project. For this, you don't need a Pro version, but all team members can share those smart views across the platform that you set up for them. If you want to use the clash rules, because that functionality is limited to the Pro version only, yeah, to run the actual tests, you will need a Pro license that can be acquired, as stated before, from the project. I will give a short demo on how that functions. So from my BIMcollab space under the administration part, you will find a new tab called BIMcollab Zoom. And I've created a user pool here in which I will give the architect, the structural engineer, and myself the access to one of the Pro licenses. In this case, I'm not connected yet, so I will quickly assign myself as a user for the Pro license. And if I log in to this specific project, you will see that the standard Zoom will automatically transform into the Pro version, allowing me to make use of all those nice features like the shared option, and also the ability to edit this smart view to list specific properties for it. And also, of course, run the clash detection. So I could create one for the architect and one for the structural engineer, and allowing them to check their files. I will limit this webinar to just the specific features on how to integrate those BIMcollab Zoom features. There is a webinar coming up this week on Thursday that dives deeper into the specific functions for BIMcollab Zoom. That will go in depth on what the benefits are and how to use the program in specific workflows. So for me, I want to talk about possible next steps. So as stated before, Thursday will be the webinar for the Zoom 3 and the Pro features. We supply all our users with a BIM 360 Docs trial option, which allows you to set up a trial for a monthly period where you can use your BIMcollab free Docs account across all of your projects. You simply go, sorry, I will start first by some information about our webinar. If you go to our LinkedIn page and search for BIMcollab, you can see that we have some invites on our on this account. If you want to join, you can always send us a message. So email us if you can't find it on LinkedIn or you're not a member on LinkedIn. For the trial, this is located under the settings page. So in your project, just activate the trial, and then it will be active for all projects. So you will have to communicate with other stakeholders if they want to try these BIM 360 Docs integrations, because they will be limited to that month only. So if they are not aware, then maybe they will miss the trial period. So just turn it on. It states also when it ends, but you can use all the features in this trial period. If you want to know more about the specific plans and options that we offer and which features are in which plan, I would like to point you to our pricing page where you can also compare the plans and to give an overview of everything that I've just shown you. And of course, you can always reach out to us to any of the social media platforms, email, whatever. So we're open to any questions. So I didn't really notice any questions so far. I want to thank you for attending this webinar. Hopefully you have gotten some insight into the new features and what it can bring you in your collaboration on your projects. Feel free to contact us. As stated earlier, we're also available to giving more one-on-one demos to you or your team. Just reach out. And for now, I will be keeping the line open for 10 to 15 minutes where you can ask your questions, and Jesper and I will try to sort them out. But for now, the presentation is over. So I would like to thank you and hopefully see you on BIMcollab using all of those new features. So again, thank you very much and goodbye.